Hey, this is my comic pool list for June 22nd, 2016. I've got 7 titles on this week's pool, and 4 of those are number 1s. So starting off with one of the 3 titles that isn't, from American Gothic Press, it's Irwin Allen's Lost in Space, The Lost Adventures, issue number 3. I loved this show as a kid. In reruns. I'm old, but I'm not that old. Anyway, I used to watch it every day when I got home from school, but for some reason it tended to give me nightmares, so I was grounded from watching it. But being a sneaky 8-year-old, I discovered a way to get around this by going outside to play and secretly watching it through the open window. My mom caught on to my plan, but felt bad for me, so she once again let me watch it. The links a little nerdy kid will go through for a sci-fi fix. Okay, back to the comic. So the curious galactic storyline draws to a close as John and Will Robinson trek through an alien desert maze and fight off strange creatures as they search for water and a way home. But while their struggle seems hopeless, it may be enough to get help from an unexpected source. I really enjoyed the way this first story arc was done. Holly Interlandi's writing, based on Carrie Wilbur's unproduced TV scripts, is tight and concise, and the art by Kostas Pantelos brought it to life brilliantly. I look forward to the next issue, but I really hope that we get more of the Robinson women who were sorely lacking in this first story arc. Next, from Dark Horse, it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 10, number 28. While trying to get back home, Xander and Dawn hop through dimensions, including one that's a Buffyverse in-joke. Think seafood. In the meantime, Buffy comes up with a plan to defeat D'Hoffryn. I really like this issue, though not much really happens story-wise. There's a lot of character building moments as the gang works on their various relationships. Well, I'm sorry. The different dimensions were great also. Only 2 more issues left in this season, so I'm hoping it gets the awesome ending it deserves. Next up from DC, it's The Flash number 1. Between his work on the police force, his duties as The Flash, and trying to figure out who's responsible for altering the timeline, Barry begins to feel overwhelmed. But as he struggles to keep up with everything, his efforts may accidentally create a new speedster. So far, I'm really enjoying Joshua Williamson's take on this title, and Carmine DiGiandomenico's art is a perfect fit. Next up, Wonder Woman issue number 1. Deep in the jungle, Diana searches for someone she thinks can give her answers, as nearby, Steve Trevor and his team try and take down a local warlord. I thought this was an okay issue. There's an intriguing ending, but I'm not hooked quite yet. But I did enjoy the story and the artwork, though apparently Steve Trevor is now Chuck Norris. Next from Image, She-Wolf number 1. No, not the nonsensical pop song by Colombian diva Shakira, in the video for which she displays her bizarre contortionary dance skills while locked in a cage. You're Googling that right now, aren't you? You're welcome. No, this She-Wolf follows high school senior Gabrielle Catella, who after being scratched by a werewolf, starts having surreal hallucinations which begin to bleed into her everyday reality. I was really looking forward to this after reading the description. I like a good, eerie horror comic, but I found this first issue a bit disappointing. The story by Rich Tommaso isn't that bad, but the artwork, also by Rich Tommaso, has a crude indie feel and a lightness to it that I don't really think matches the tone of the story. I'm sure it was done that way intentionally to bump up the surrealness factor, but it just didn't work for me. Now, I'll give it another issue though before I make up my mind about dropping it. Moving on to Marvel, it's one of my favorite comics, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, issue number 8. The Cosmic Cutie storyline continues as Malvar the Kree, aka Marvin Ellis, infiltrates PS-20 in hopes of capturing Lunella to prove himself as a big bad Inhuman hunter. Unfortunately for him, he's just in time to be trampled by Devil Dinosaur, who now, for mysterious reasons, occupies Lunella's 9-year-old human body and is running amok in Mrs. Dominguez's home room. Meanwhile, Lunella is having issues of her own as her efforts to remain inconspicuous while walking down the street, inhabiting the body of a giant, bright red T-Rex, are failing miserably. This is another cute issue. Amy Reeder's writing is awesome as usual, and Natasha Bustos' art is always on point. I'm looking forward to seeing Moon Girl and Kid Kree duke it out in the next issue. And finally, it's Star Wars The Force Awakens, issue number 1. This is part 1 of the comic adaptation of the film. In this first issue, we meet Poe, Finn, and Rey. I didn't really care for the hasty way they were introduced, but I don't blame writer Chuck Wendig, as I can see the necessity of cutting out bits of the story to make it fit completely into 5 issues. After the quick intros, the narrative flow slows to a better pace, and coupled with Luke Ross's artwork, it plays out pretty well. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching, you sexy people. Like, subscribe, and comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And you. Not so much you, but the person you're with looks kind of cool. See you guys later. And Carmine and Carmine DeGian and Carmine DeGian Demonic